Welcome to Engineering Mechanics video lecture. In this video lecture, I am trying to explain you about types of supports and corresponding free body diagrams, introducing support reaction forces. Sphere is placed on the frictionless support. To trace the free body diagram of this problem figure, we have to remove this contact horizontal surface. At the point of contact in between horizontal surface and sphere, we have to introduce a normal reaction force perpendicular to the horizontal ground. We have removed horizontal contact surface, introducing contact in between horizontal surface and sphere. You indicate that as A. At that particular point, we have to introduce normal reaction force RA. Contact reaction force should act towards the contact perpendicular to the horizontal ground. This is the free body diagram of frictionless support and sphere resting on the horizontal plane. On observing this problem figure, we can understand that one end of the beam is placed on the roller support. For this problem figure, we try to trace the free body diagram. On removing roller support, we have to introduce normal reaction force perpendicular to the beam axis. We have removed the roller and then we have to introduce a normal reaction force perpendicular to the beam axis. This is the free body diagram of one end of the beam. When you consider this end of the beam as A, we have to introduce normal reaction force generated is RA. This is the free body diagram of roller support. Only single force we have to introduce perpendicular to the contact surface towards A end of the beam. On observing this problem figure, we can understand one end of the beam is placed on the knife edge support. Considering this problem figure, we try to trace the free body diagram. To trace the free body diagram of knife edge support, on removing knife edge support, we have to introduce only one normal reaction force perpendicular to the beam axis. Knife edge support removed. On removing knife edge support, we have to introduce a normal reaction force. When you consider this end of the beam as A, we have to introduce a normal reaction force generated is RA. This is the free body diagram of knife edge support at A end of the beam. On observing given problem figure, we can understand that one end of the beam is placed on the roller support. For this problem figure also, we try to trace the free body diagram. To trace the free body diagram of this problem figure, we have to remove roller support. On removing roller support, we have to introduce normal reaction force perpendicular to beam axis. On removing roller support, we have to introduce normal reaction force perpendicular to beam axis. When you consider this end of the beam as A, we have to introduce normal reaction force generated at A end of the beam is RA. RA indicates us a normal reaction force at A end of the beam. This indicates us a free body diagram of a given problem figure. On observing this problem figure, we can understand that one end of the beam is hinged to the hinged support. About this hinge, the motion of a end of the beam restricted in two directions. One is horizontal direction, another is vertical direction. Considering these two restrictions, we have to introduce support reaction forces. Restricting reaction forces we have to introduce. One is along horizontal direction, another is vertical direction. About this hinge, this beam, A end of the beam will not move in this direction, and also this A end of the beam will not move in upward direction and also downward direction. Only this beam may rotate like in this fashion about this hinge. It will not apply any movement, restricting movement opposite to the direction of rotation. To trace the free body diagram, we have to remove hinged support. On removing hinged support, we have to introduce two support reaction forces. One is vertically upward direction, another is a horizontally rightward direction. For the hinged support, we have to introduce two forces. At the end of the beam, we have to introduce RAH, RAV. This is the free body diagram of hinged support at the end of the beam. Figure is also an example of hinged support. For this case also we have to introduce two forces. One is along x direction, another is along y direction. This is the free body diagram of hinged support at the end of the beam. If the one end of the beam is embedded in the concrete, the type of support considered as built-in support or fixed support. If one end of the beam is embedded in the concrete, the motion of this end of the beam restricted in two directions. One is along horizontal direction, another is along vertical direction. About this fixed support, this end of the beam will not rotate like in this fashion. It restricts the rotation of the beam. So some opposing moment will be generated at this end of the beam. This indicates us free body diagram of fixed support at A end of the beam. RAH indicates us reaction force generated at A end of the beam along horizontal direction. RAV indicates us reaction force generated at A end of the beam along vertical direction. MA indicates us total movement generated about A end of the beam.